and welcome to episode number 15 of the Golf Front Podcast. My name is Brett Bevilacqua. I'm a realtor with Carolina Property Sales in Southern Pines, North Carolina. I am also an avid but incredibly mediocre golfer with the goal of playing every course in the Pinehurst area. This week, I have one of our best, Pine Needles. Wow, what a course. Since I started coming to the Sandhills in 2001, I have been told that I have to play Pine Needles, and I finally had my first opportunity to play in 2021. No exaggeration, it is fantastic. The best part is Pine Needles gives you the illusion that you can score there. Well, get ready, because from the moment you step on the par 5 first all the way through the 18th, be prepared to have your butt thoroughly kicked. At the time of producing this podcast, some 24 hours after stepping off the course, I still have yet to tally the number of strokes it took me to play 18 holes. In fact, if and when I do tally my scorecard, it isn't even remotely accurate, as I picked up on the par 3 13th and very generously gave myself a completely undeserved triple bogey. I don't want to come off like I had a bad time or was disappointed in the course. Nothing could be further from the truth. Upon finishing my round, I inquired at the pro shop about the price of a replay round, and to my surprise, it was quite fairly priced. My group looked at me like I was crazy as I was staring the potential of a 200-stroke day in the face. I thought better of it after a few minutes and decided to get a head start on the following day's real estate schedule. As I grabbed my ball out of the cup on the first green and responded 7 to Harold, a great guy who I often play all these great courses with, when he asked, "What did you get?" I was struck by the fact that I wanted another shot at the first hole. The scenario was repeated over and over again throughout the day. Okay, I just tallied up my score. 50 on the front, 54 on the back. That's my highest score by a lot in quite some time. And despite it all, I had a great time. I can't say enough about the course. It is classic, and I can see why it has received so many awards, accolades, and is the home to so many prestigious tournaments. Built in 1927, this Donald Ross course was the last of the big famous Donald Ross courses to be built in the Sandhills. You still have the younger Sanford, Stryker, and Twin Valley, but Pine Needles is post-Southern Pines, Pinehurst 1, 2, 3, and 4, as well as Mid-Pines across the street. At 55 years old upon completion, I believe Ross used everything in his arsenal to build this monster course. By the way, I sort of, by design, left this course alone until I'd already played a number of courses in the area. That's the luxury of living in and around Pinehurst, North Carolina. I've played Ross courses and other clubs that have held prestigious tournaments. Other courses built by gigantic names in the game, and Pine Needles just flat out delivers at every turn. Pine Needles is just 5 miles east of downtown Pinehurst in the town of Southern Pines. It is a par 71, and from the back plays over 7,000 yards with a 73.5 slope and 134 rating. The Whites, or regular tees as they are called, play just over 6,000 yards with a 68.6 slope and 126 rating. That's a damn lie. I played from the Whites and now officially feel like the worst golfer in the Sandhills. The experience in and of itself is memorable. I love the free range balls and tees. The putting green was huge and awesome. The clubhouse is old but feels charming and not the least bit dated. I'm a sucker for the old pictures and historic stuff in the clubhouse, and Pine Needles really delivers in this department. The staff in the pro shop is fantastic. There is even a halfway house, which serves me up a $3 hot dog on the 9th tee. They really know how to get my attention. I'm telling you, Pine Needles has it all and then some. Pine Needles starts off with an excruciatingly tough dogleg right par 5 that starts off up a hill. There is room on the left if, like me, you end up hooking your tee shot after 30 minutes of hitting perfect shots on the range. The first hole plays 460 yards from the Whites, or what is called the regular tees, and 505 from the tips. I dare you to play the back tees at Pine Needles. The green has bunkers to the right and left and is so easy to roll off the right side of the green. This has to be one of the toughest first holes in the Sandhills. The second is a long and straight par 4, but you'll catch a break as the fairway slopes downhill to the green about 200 yards from the tee. The green is so slick. Everyone in my foursome rolled off the back of the green. The greens are crazy fast, even though it had just rained for 12 hours prior to our tee time. The third is a very, very short par 3 that plays over some wetlands. The green is protected by 3 bunkers, and you want to avoid the big bunker on the left at all costs. I got lucky by digging a ball out with a 3/4 shot and parring this hole with a 12-footer. The fourth is a short uphill par 4. There are plenty of bunkers and even some waste area right of the fairway, but even more treacherous is the green's false front. If you don't get onto the green a good 25 feet on the right side or even in the center, you are going to roll a long way back down the fairway. It is classic Ross all the way, and what I had been expecting on the first 3 holes. The 5th is a long par 3 with 2 bunkers in front of the green. From the white or regular tees, as they are called at Pine Needles, you are at the same elevation as the green. The rest of my group played from the executive tees, and those significantly closer, I felt they were at a disadvantage hitting uphill to the green. The right side is dangerous as it is easy to putt off the green if going from left to right. The 6th is a lengthy par 4, sort of similar to the 2nd with a downhill slope around the landing area. One thing I noticed by this point in the round, if you hit your approach shot anywhere near a greenside bunker, your ball is rolling into a greenside bunker. I've never been in so many bunkers. It was endless. I'm not complaining, the bunkers were in excellent shape. Even with the absence of rakes and the terrible pre-round weather, the course was flawlessly maintained. I kept saying to the foursome that I have to play this place again in season. That's not to say I didn't have a great time, but it has to be something in the late spring. From the whites, you kind of catch a break on the 7th. Another straight par 4 with a large green and just about 350 yards. As long as you don't go too far left off the tee, you should be set up for a par. There is a bunker to the back right of the green. It is not ideal, but nowhere near as tough as most of the other bunkers. Off the tee, keep it middle or even right. There is a waste area left, and even the left side of the fairway doesn't give you the clearest approach shot to the green. 8th is a short par 4, and this time you will be better off leaving your drive to the left side of the fairway. I sliced, hit a tree, bounced back into the fairway, but just on the right edge. From there, I had to avoid the trees that bordered the fairway, which left me no choice but to go to the left side of the green. I pushed it just a few yards left and found another bunker. Easy out, but a 2-putt and another bogey that could have been a par. That's how Pine Needles gets you. One mistake and you need a heroic sand wedge out of the bunker to pick up a bogey. As I said, there is a halfway house just before the 9th tee, and they have everything. Really nice touch. 9 is another par 4 that seems like a piece of cake until your approach shot lands on the green, slips off the right edge because you can't hit the middle of a green. At almost any other course in the Sandhills, I would have stuck that wedge on the green and 2-putt. Instead, my second shot rolls off down a 4-foot slope, and I chip that off the other side of the green. Then I am chipping back up onto the green and take a double. That left me with a front 9 that had just 1 par, 2 bogeys, 6 double bogeys. I'm a bad golfer, but I'm not that bad. On 10, we finally get another par 5, and it is something else. From the whites to the tips, it is from an elevated tee box, and like the par 3 5th, the executive tee box, though closer, have you right on the edge of a lake, hitting to a fairway that is up a giant hill. The 10th is a relatively short dogleg left par 5. There are traps to the left that you can clear with your drive, and then you may be able to get there in 2. I hit my drive straight up the hill, clearing the entire fairway. Had I hit it any better, I would have been in the woods. It is deceptively short to the woods. I didn't think I had any shot of making it to the rough. I left myself about 235 from the pin, and other than teeing up a driver, had no choice but to lay up short. This green is quite forgiving for Pine Needle standards. The 11th starts off an elevated tee box, has a fairway that bends to the right, and by all means stay to the left. I normally don't toot my own horn, but I put a little something extra on my drive and slice my tee shot to the right of the waste bunkers. They're tough to see off the tee. I then hit my approach shot between 2 trees with maybe a 10-foot window and landed on the green about 10 feet from the pin, which of course I 2-putt. But it was a par that I won't soon forget. The 11th green is another green where any shot on the right side will be in danger of rolling off down a bank, and the back of the green is sort of similar. The 12th is a short par 4 unless you are playing from the tips. Any sort of big drive will leave you a sand wedge or less from the green, which of course I rolled off the back. A common theme for me at Pine Needles. I hope this podcast helps first-time players when it comes to calculating distance on approach shots. If you don't have a caddy or play with someone familiar with the course, a rangefinder may not help you as much as it does on other courses. There are also 2 deep bunkers, both left, and the first of the 2 is a good distance from the front of the green. On 13, of course I came up short and then chipped onto and then rolled off the back of the green. With my next shot, I chipped just a foot short of sticking to the green and then rolled back off, and did it again before picking up and taking a very generous 6. Anyway, 13 is a medium-length par 3 with a waist area short left and bunkers front right. Next time I will play left of center, off the tee, as there is much less trouble. 14, a par 4 dogleg right, at least for me, didn't feel as long as the scorecard indicated. Well, that's not completely true. I scorched an 8-iron from the 150-yard marker, and things didn't go exactly as planned. I fell short and ended up in the front right bunker. This was the 3rd or 4th time during this round where I was timid about going long and struck a ball perfectly, only to come up short. It really bears mentioning that Pine Needles is the type of course that will have you second-guessing yourself over and over, and that's not a knock by any stretch. I feel like playing Pine Needles has given me a new understanding of the game. 15 is a straightaway par 5 that is not especially long. There are a pair of waist bunkers just to the left of the fairway that most players should be able to clear from the tee, but if you get in there, kiss your par goodbye. There are also a number of bunkers to the right, but I didn't feel as those were as daunting as the 2 on the left. Your mileage may vary. Again, on my approach shot, I hit the green and rolled off the back. The green is large and is protected by a bunch of bunkers. The 16th is a medium-length par 3, and the bunkers are absolute killers. You really have to dig to get out of the bunkers on either side of the green. It is a 50-50 proposition that you will clear the green and end up on the opposite side bunker. It is brutal. If you don't have your irons dialed in, it would almost be better to come up a few yards short. Next time I play, that's my plan. 17 made me pay. How it is considered the 8th hardest hole on the course according to handicaps on the scorecard is total horse you-know-what. I think it may be the most difficult golf hole in the county. I hit the ball further than 80, maybe even 90% of the people I play with, and I had no chance of getting there in 2. Let me explain. From the whites, it is 415-yard dogleg left par 4. There is a waist bunker protecting the left side of any tee shot that comes up short, and that bunker has a 3 or 4 foot berm on the green side that will force you to use an 8-iron or less for loft, which isn't going to help you get anywhere near the green. The green has 2 very large bunkers on either side, about 20 yards out in front on the right and just in front on the left. The green is another hubcap or turtleback that is easy to go off the backside of. From the back tees, there's a tree just in front of the tee that makes cutting the corner a feat of sorcery. In case you wanted to know, 460 from the tips. That is something else. A few in my group who had played the course before said that the 18th was easy. Well, they're damn liars. Completely demoralized from my triple on the 17th, I stepped onto the tee and sliced my tee shot, hit a provisional and sliced it again nearly to the same exact spot. Oddly, I only found one of the 2 drives, and that was the only ball I lost at Pine Needles. Note to first-timers, just hit your tee shot to the left. Even the left rough would have been better than going right. The fairway is much tighter than it looks from the tee box. There is a fairway bunker left, but even average-length drivers should be able to carry it. This par 4 bends just slightly to the left and is all downhill, making it feel much shorter than the scorecard. The green is protected by 3 bunkers, but I think that the one front right is most likely to give you trouble. Pine Needles isn't cheap, but I have heard of people paying as little as $55 when they aerate the greens. I have also heard of people paying well over $200 in season. I have to be honest, I don't like spending that much money to play, but to be fair, Pine Needles is worth it and continually has the accolades to back it up. It is a great course. There are also membership rates that seem like a bargain to someone like me from the New York area. In fact, if I can sell a few more golf front properties in 2021, I think a Pine Needles membership that also includes Mid Pines and Southern Pines Country Club would be on the top of my list of where I would want to be a member in the Sandhills, if not the entire nation. For more information, go to pineneedleslodge.com or give them a call at 910-692-7111. There is no shortage of golf front property at Pine Needles. Nearly half the course has homes among the fairways and greens, with rumors that even more homes will be built in and around the course. If golf front isn't your choice, Pine Needles is just up the road from lovely downtown Southern Pines, which has more than its fair share of stately homes from a bygone era and new construction too. If you want more information, give me a call at 845-365-3665 or send an email to brett@hmpfilms.com and I will show you all the area has to offer. Once again, I'm Brett Bevilacqua with Carolina Property Sales. Next week, we're across the street at another Donald Ross course, Mid Pines.